Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are here today with another video. Today we're going to be talking about anxious attachment and how it is keeping you stuck. If you ever feel like you are constantly thinking about the future and trying to accomplish specific goals, certain outcomes that you want to come true, and you're worried about being abandoned or fear that, once you start getting the things that you want, everything's going to change, this video is for you. So I definitely have experienced this, and I still sometimes struggle with this myself. The feeling of constantly thinking ahead, looking towards the future, and trying to plan my next move. I'm always trying to see how to improve things to get to where I want to be, but in doing that, I'm not grounded in the present moment. I'm not actively living the life that I'm already blessed to live. And you get to this point where you lose sight of what it is you're actually working towards, what it is you actually want, what it is you actually need in your life, because you become so enamored and blinded by your projections of, this person or this future reality. You become so over invested in that you're not actually investing in yourself. You're not actually believing in yourself and trusting in yourself. And you put all of your worth, your value, your time and your attention into these external factors that the internal gets neglected. And that is where the fear gets manifested, that you're not going to be enough, that people aren't going to like you, people aren't going to want to be with you, because you don't want that for yourself. You don't want to be with yourself. You don't believe in yourself. So why would anybody else give you that attention, that time, that effort if you don't prioritize yourself in the first place? When you are dealing with anxious attachment, a lot of times that is spoken about in terms of relationships, romantic relationships, wanting to find a partner and to be with someone. But it goes a lot deeper than that. At least in my opinion, I think that when you are anxiously attached, it goes beyond your relationships, both romantic, platonic, and even with familial relations. So the way that because when you really think about it, the way that you date people is the way that you live your life. So if you are interested in someone and you have that interest and you want to go on a date, the way that you go about planning that date with them is probably how you go about planning other things in your life. If your friend reaches out and they haven't seen you in a while and they want to meet up to, catch up and talk, the way that you go about setting up that hangout is probably going to be the same way that you go about setting up a date, more or less. Depending on who's asking who out, you may not be the one to plan the date, whereas when you're meeting up with a friend, both people are probably contributing ideas and putting equal effort to plan it. The way that you engage in things in your personal life is how you're going to engage it externally. So going beyond just relationships, when it comes to anxious attachment, the way that you internalize that fear of rejection, that fear of abandonment, that fear of not being seen, not being worthy, that transcends your inner bubble of like relationships and just wanting to be with someone. That also presents itself in all other areas of your life, of you not thinking that you're good enough for that job, you not thinking that you're ever going to have your dream house, you not thinking that you're ever going to be a good parent. All of these things come back to the root of you not trusting in yourself, you not even believing in those things about yourself. You are projecting that you're not going to be a good girlfriend or a good wife, and no guy is ever gonna love you, but that's because you aren't even a good partner to yourself. Like, you don't practice self-love, you don't buy yourself small tokens of affection, you don't speak kindly of yourself, you don't go out of your way to do things for yourself just to make yourself happy. So of course you're gonna think, like, why would anyone ever do that for me? Like, why would anyone go out of their way to show me how much they love me and care about me? It's because you don't even do that for yourself, first of all. Some of the things that I have started to do to combat this or to grow out of this mindset is to literally treat myself like my own boyfriend, which sounds super crazy and cringe and like kind of weird, but like I started buying myself flowers. Like when I go to the store and I see the beautiful flowers on display in the front, I will go over and look at them and I will pick out the ones that I like and I will buy them and I will come home and I will put them in a nice little vase and it will be on my desk or my nightstand or wherever I have space in my room. And it really does lighten up the space and make me feel like really warm and happy. Like, yeah, like I wanted it and I went and got it, and it's just a small thing to brighten up the space, brighten up my mood, brighten up my day. I don't really wear makeup that often, especially like you can see right now I'm not wearing any makeup other than my eyebrows. I tried to fill in a little bit, But typically I don't wear makeup unless I'm going out, as in like it's a date, or I'm like meeting up with my friends, or I'm just going out and doing something. But if I'm just going to the store, I'm not really gonna throw on makeup, or if I'm going to the gym, I'm not doing my makeup. But I actually have started to do that, where every time I leave my house, I will do my makeup. But when I say makeup, I just mean like my eyeshadow and my eyeliner, mascara, because I don't really wear foundation and concealer and all that other stuff. So when I say doing my makeup, it's not like the full 9 yards. I really don't do that. But even just my little 5-minute routine of like doing my eyebrows and my eyeshadow, that is like taking that extra time, is showing myself that like I'm worth an extra 5 minutes. How can I expect a guy to like call me out of the blue just because he missed me and he just wanted to talk for 5 minutes, if I'm not even willing to go out of my own way for 5 minutes to do something for myself? You know what I'm saying? There are small things that you could be doing in your life to improve how you feel about yourself, and to make it so that you're not constantly projecting negative feelings. Like, project positive feelings. Not to be all self-obsessed and be like, everybody loves me, everybody's obsessed with me. Although some people do have those affirmations, and whatever works for you, go ahead. If that's what is going to help you to feel better about yourself, go ahead. But what I mean specifically is really take the time to reflect on who you are and what you value, and then make time and create space in your life to actually work towards those things. You can't just sit idly and not go outside and think that your husband is going to come knocking on your front door. That's not going to happen. You can't be bed rotting and doom scrolling all day, every day, and then wonder why you aren't successful in your careers. Like, well, you're not working, you're not going out and meeting people, building connections, you're not doing the things that will help you to advance your situation. So how can you really be upset or have fear that things aren't going to work out if you aren't even showing up for yourself in the first place? And let me tell you something, because the real mind trip is when you get to the point where you trick yourself into thinking that the reason why you don't want to walk away from something or someone is because you feel like you're the one that's abandoning the situation. It's not that you're afraid that you're going to get abandoned. It's that you feel like you're the one doing wrong by others, by putting yourself first and investing in yourself. And that is, no, don't fall into that. Because what is really happening is that you are growing out of people-pleasing tendencies. You are waking up and deciding to prioritize yourself and to think about your own life and your own goals and your own value, and you're no longer deciding to put other people above that. When you come from a place of not really loving or accepting yourself, and you finally make that switch and you start investing in yourself and you start putting yourself first, people are going to take notice. People are going to realize that you are treating them differently than you have in the past. People are going to realize that you are treating yourself differently than you have in the past. People are going to realize that you are living your life to a higher standard and that you are not playing around. So some people are not going to take that well. Of course, if you have like good people around you, you have a nice support system, you have friends and family that you can lean on and who can support you as you grow through your journey, they're going to be right there by your side, encouraging you, and they're going to be happy for you that you're growing into yourself and becoming this new person. But there are going to be people who are going to try to drag you down and hold on to that old person who they knew that they could walk over and have their way with. Or, maybe it's not that extreme. I don't want to, like, not everyone's toxic. Maybe just, people aren't compatible and you realize that and you move on. But don't convince yourself. Don't, like, do this backwards mental gymnastics, talking yourself into, like, oh, I don't want to, like, leave them hanging. I don't want to, like, abandon this friendship. I don't want to break up with this guy. No, because if you've gotten to the point where you're realizing that you're no longer able to show up for each other, whether it's one way or both ways, then it is what it is. It's not your responsibility to try to change that person and to help them grow the way that you are. Like, they have to be willing to change their own circumstances on their own. They have to want help. They have to want to change and be better on their own for themselves first and foremost. Even if you could convince them to, go on this level up journey with you and to achieve, more and be better people, they're not going to get that far if they're not doing it for themselves and they're just doing it for you. Because sure, in the beginning they might love you with their whole heart and be like, yes, I believe in you, I believe in us, we can do this, we can get through it together, like, let's do this. But the momentum, the initial wave is going to subside, And if they don't have their own internal motivations, if they don't have their own goals, and they don't have their own self-worth and self-love, all of that is going to be for nothing, and you're going to find yourself growing and improving and living and creating this beautiful life for yourself, and they're just going to stay back at where they were. And I don't want to say that they're dragging you down and holding you back, but if we're going to be completely honest with ourselves, they're going to be dragging you down and holding you back, because if you're moving forward and they're not, then what do you call that? You know, if they're moving forward and they're staying still, or they're even going backwards in some cases, what do you call that? I don't want you to get in this mindset of thinking that you can't do better for yourself and you can't move on with your life, because in doing so, all the people that you're going to leave behind, that you're abandoning them. And you know what it feels like to be abandoned. You know how it feels to be hurt. You know how it feels to be disappointed, and now you're doing that to other people. No. Unless you are legitimately being vindictive and you're going out of your way to hurt people and be disrespectful and to like put people down, then you don't need to be feeling that way. Because if you're genuinely just trying to be a better person and live a better life and to invest in yourself and prioritize yourself and finally love yourself and have a life that you love and want to live, then you have to come to terms with not everybody is going to be in that new world that you create for yourself. Not everyone is going to accept the new version of you. Not everyone is meant to be in your life forever. Even if you part ways amicably and there's no, toxicity or disrespect or abuse between you and those people or those environments, it still doesn't mean that you have to stay and be a part of each other's lives. Like, sometimes you are in someone's life to serve a purpose, and once you serve that purpose, you're no longer a part of their life, and vice versa. Sometimes you date someone to learn what you want in a relationship. Like, you meet someone and they're a great person, but you're just not compatible and you go your separate ways. You may or may not decide to be friends afterwards, but if you decide that you dated and you're no longer friends, that's okay. Like, you don't have to stay friends with your ex just because they were a good person. If you decide that that relationship ended and you learned lessons, you learned what you like, what you don't like, what you're looking for, it's okay for you to move on and to have your memories and have your love for that person, but keep them in the past and keep them where they are, especially if they're not wanting to move forward with you, if they're not wanting to still be friends, if they're not wanting to still be a part of your life. There's nothing that you can do to change their mind or to encourage them to do better the way that you want to for yourself. So don't get into that mindset of thinking that if you do better for yourself, if you prioritize yourself and you create this new life, that you are abandoning those around you, and you can't take responsibility for other people. You can only take responsibility for yourself. And it is going to be hard to say goodbye to those relationships and to those environments that no longer align with your values, but it's necessary, especially if you know exactly what you want. You cannot be distracted and be a part of two different environments. You have to pick one and stay on that path. You cannot be entertaining two different realities. Like, if you are trying to change your circumstances and shift your reality into your desired outcome, then you have to fully commit to that. Before I go, I just want to say that this video is sponsored by me, my candle brand, Daydream Collective. I sell these beautiful smelling luscious candles, and I have been working on this brand for like 4 years, and I finally launched this year, and I have my candles. I have had a couple orders, and I love every time that I get an order to package it and to ship it out. It's just like a cute little routine that I do. But I would love to have more people get their candles. These candles are really special to me as a creative person. The whole idea is that after a long day of being creative and being a very busy, successful person, you just want to come home and light your candle while you unwind. Or maybe even if you're the type of person who is really creative at night and that's your time to shine and to work when it's quiet and you can just focus, it's so nice to just have a nice candle to create this serene, calm ambience so that you can actually focus on your work and you can relax and just have this nice calming space for yourself. So Daydream Collective, use code DREAMER to get 20% off if you're interested. And thank you guys so much for supporting my brand. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.